What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Suit Up Geeks podcast. Today we are breaking down episode 3 of Miss Marvel. Guys, if you're new to the channel, check us out. Please be sure to share the love. Smash that like button. Please be sure to comment. Please be sure to subscribe. We are doing a spoiler-heavy review of where we're heading in the Miss Marvel universe moving forward, guys. So if you haven't seen it, watch the show, come back, and let's talk Miss Marvel. Joining me, my man Ryan over there, Bat Nips. What's going on, Ryan?
Yo, what's going on? This is a very hump day episode, to put the lesser of two evils, I guess you can say. There's a lot I enjoyed, but it's that exposition episode that I felt like we all kind of knew was coming, and this is the third episode, so this is when they really have to go full plot at this point for these next 3 episodes. So I can't say I'm fully disappointed in that, but I will say there are a lot of things to like within this episode, along with just the wedding scene, but we'll get into that later. I liked it, but not as much as I liked those first 2 episodes.
Totally fair. And then we've got the man, the myth, the legend. He is Loretto at Marcellus Durden on Twitter. What's up, Lo?
Hello. Pardon my low energy. I'm going to try to be alive for the next 2 hours. It's really hot in California. We're in the middle of a terrible heat wave, and I know Colorado's feeling it too, but
hell yeah, baby.
I'm spoiled. I don't like being hot, so I get grumpy. But media consumption today was very pleasant overall. Overall, good shape, both sides. And with this episode, I'm excited to talk about it.
Yep. We've got Caitlin in the house. Hey, Caitlin. Thank you so much for joining. Comment your thoughts. We're talking general impressions. We're going to talk our favorite moments. We're going to grade episode 3. And I've got a lot of predictions where this series is heading moving forward, because we finally learned a lot. Yeah, Ryan, I agree. Like, there was a lot of exposition in episode 3, but they revealed a lot. I'm going to throw it to you, Matt. What was your general impressions of episode 3?
Yeah, literally plot heavy. The one thing that kind of threw me the wrong way in just vision boarding the character of Kamran's mom, they set her up like at the end of the last episode and the very beginning of this episode to be like a super nice and sweet older lady. But I think once they wrote that part, they realized that they're already halfway into episode 3 and they had to make her the villain by the end of it. And they didn't want to wait till the end of the season. So they just switched her to villain like almost immediately. And I was like, well, okay, I see what you guys are trying to do there, but I don't think it's working in the emotional way that I think they wanted it to. I think they wanted to try to build some foundation with the relationship between the 3 of them, because you see throughout the episode that Kamran clearly doesn't agree with what his mother and the Jinns do. So I'm really curious to see like how that plays out within these next 3 episodes. But yeah, it felt super unnatural and super forced within this episode in particular. That was really off-putting, especially with those last 2 episodes having really good flow and nothing really felt like it shouldn't have been there, or no characters felt off. But I'm starting to feel a little awkward because I don't want to say villain. I'm going to say antagonist for this show, simply because they're just trying to get home. As to the extent that we know now, we don't know what they might do when they go home. But I did get a lot of like Zod, Man of Steel vibes from this as well. I don't know if you guys did at all.
No, not necessarily. Caitlin just watched Multiverse of Madness. I literally have that on the TV right now. I'm literally like
That's
50 minutes in. Oh, that's good. Caitlin says this exposition was necessary, especially about the gin and tonic.
I do want to say that, touch on that though, that the exposition is definitely necessary, but it's the way that they go about it that is super awkward. It feels like that they decided to just throw all the exposition into most of this one episode instead of sprinkling it out a little bit throughout the past episodes. And it just, going back to like the whole Kamran's mom situation, it just feels very forced all of a sudden when things were kind of frolicking along at a steady pace for those first 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Lo? What were some of your general impressions?
Overall, it definitely wasn't my favorite of the three, but like,
Yeah.
I like the progression of the story so far. I'll admit, the reveal of the Jin was a little bit like underwhelming, I guess to say. And I don't mind the exposition, but at the same time, it's like it wasn't clear what their power sets were. Like, they're just really good at fighting, and I mean, there wasn't a lot of like anything. There wasn't really anything really clear about them. I guess they kept it simple in a sense that they want to go home, and I guess that's fine. But yeah, I don't know. I just their motivations for me were kind of like they could have been more expanded upon, in my opinion. I would like to know more about the relationship between the disappearing, like that's her great grandmother, right? So, and also if that's her great grandmother, and then who is this lady to her? Like, aren't they related? So it's kind of like, so you're about to like just kill your great granddaughter or whatever, or just to get home. I don't know.
The
So
family lineage is kind of odd. I will agree. I like just trying to put it together. Like, well, you're this person. Wait, so is Conron? You relate to Conron? Are you trying to like pull Leia, Luke and Leia on your cousin Conron all of a sudden? I don't know. I do agree with you, Lo. Not really thinking about it until since you said.
I was gonna say I don't mind.
It's kind of awkward. I like him as a character. I really like him as a character, but just like, what is he? Who is he in relations to her at the end of the day? Like bloodline. It's kind of confusing.
Let me give you an example, right? Like one of the reasons why I love Lion King, right? Like the whole Hamlet thing. Like Scar had a reason to be like, oh, I hate you, Mufasa. Like, or Loki even. Loki lived in Thor's shadow, so it's like, if she would have had some kind of line explaining her malice towards maybe Aisha, or that side of the family, maybe there's some familial little clash there. I think that would have been a little bit made me feel better about the whole Jin explanation. But other than that, though, I mean, it wasn't a bad episode. I thought the fight scene was really well choreographed. That was really cool. I liked the kitchen scene. It got very horrific.
Yeah.
The lighting was gorgeous, especially when she turned the lights off and it was all shadows. And then we went to move the camera to the left, you see like this redness, and it was like really menacing. That was pretty cool. I really liked the way that was shot. But overall, I think I like 2 more than all of them so far. But I'm still enjoying the show a lot. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Caitlin says, I assume we'll find out more next episode when they go back to the grandma. 100%.
Like, that's what scares me. Like, that sounds like such a plot heavy expositional type of episode. Like, usually shows go to far places. In particular, Karate Kid, they did it on Cobra Kai. They did it in the reboot. They go to China to go talk to someone and find things out. I know the new Karate Kid takes place in China, but like there's a part in the movie where they take like a trip across the land to a completely different part of China, which is like a 10-hour flight. My point still carries there is that whenever they go to those places, it's usually to tell the main character that what's been going on. And I do agree. I didn't see the logo, but I got some 10 Rings influence vibes within this episode, in particular with the Jins.
Yes, sir. That is
yes, sir.
I honestly, I don't know much about Miss Marvel. And they definitely were stretching the origin story here for the MCU, and I didn't really know where we were going after the first 2 episodes, but I saw that literally in the first 2 minutes. I'm like, I know that. All right, so Wolf of Odin thinks they are Kree tech. We can jump into that in a little bit, but I'm just real quick on my general.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Did anybody think of Spider-Man when I forgot who the character was explaining to Kamala? I think it might have been Benji. Not Benji.
Bruno?
Fuck. Bruno. Yeah.
Nobody knows
about needing the power of the sun to start up one of the devices in the show. I think it might have been the bangle. And I just instantly think like Spider-Man 2, Power of the Sun in my hand. Yeah. And I'm like, these motherfuckers are they gotta know that they're referencing it, but
I don't know. Shuri's getting a run for her money because Bruno is smart as fuck. Like the dude just
so I know we usually do predictions at the end, but I just want to ask another thing. Like, what do you what is Caltech in the comics? Because I don't know much about Caltech in the comics. So that's what I've been trying to figure out in my head is like, who is Bruno going to connect to outside of Miss Marvel? Because I truly feel like at the end of this season, Miss Marvel's Kamala is going to go into space, and I think Bruno is going to do the internship and just stay in California. And I don't know what facility they might have out there, who's located out there. So I'm curious to see how that goes or where that goes with Bruno.
I have two thoughts for that, but let's save it for predictions though.
Yeah.
I do too. And I'm pretty sure I know where it's going. I think there's going to be
I think we're on the same page here, aren't we, Dives?
Maybe. We'll see.
I'm excited.
I thought the first 2 episodes were absolutely flawless. Absolutely flawless. Like you guys have said, we definitely took a step back here. There were so many high moments in episode 3, but I did have some like kind of things I didn't like about episode 3. Like, I don't like how Kamala's like the whole teenage in a bind, not telling her parents. I don't like that. Like, nothing about this family screams that. For me, like, Kamala's family is super, super loving. They're super connected. I just, that did not click well for me. It made much more sense if, she opened up to them and they're there. Like, they're supportive. Like, I didn't understand that piece of this episode. So for me, like, I think it doesn't matter. Like, the positives still vastly outweigh the negatives. The story is still great. The performances are still great. We learned a lot. Cameron is not evil. Man, I got that wrong. Although there's still time for him to turn. But I thought
he might just be trying to get in with her.
Yeah. Let's go to some comments real quick. Caitlin says, Ironheart. We will talk about that. Wolf of Odin says the music and the culture representation is superb. 100%. It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. Caitlin says a typical teenage thing to do. I fully agree, Caitlin. It's just, who hasn't been there as a teenager? Like, it's a thing. But for me, I just a small gripe about an otherwise 100% one of the best MCU shows to date. So let's go into best moments because we're gonna let's jump right in. Let's do this. I'll start. My favorite part of this episode was just learning about more of the Powers origin and the Multiverse of Madness and the Shang-Chi references. That was a lot of fun. I really liked the idea of Kamala's powers tying into her cultural background. We could talk about the Kree. I think that's a really good bet. I'm thinking all these bits of like technology are related to kind of those like cosmic races like the Kree. I think that's a really good bet. My head went to like the end of Shang-Chi when you see Wong talking about how the rings are sending out these signals. Like everything definitely feels like the bangle will be connected to this. And you think back, like in the comics, the 10 rings were alien technology. Like this is, in another dimension that we're going to be going into another dimension. This then brings up questions about the Inhumans, whether or not this brings up questions about Secret Wars. Are the Jinn the new Inhumans? There's just so much to talk about with this show moving forward. Did Kang send all this tech back in time for him to collect it in the near future? I don't know. There's just so many different thoughts, but I think America Chavez is going to be a good bet moving forward because that's pretty convenient. I would say that we're definitely heading towards the Young Avengers. But just that was my favorite moment. Like the thought process of this episode was horrific. I'm going to throw it to you, Lo. What was some of your favorite moments?
I actually kind of spoiled it already. My favorite moment was actually in the kitchen. I thought that was really well shot. But the character moments too. I really liked the Cameron standing up for Kamala. That was nice. And overall, the wedding was really long. It dominated pretty much the whole episode, understandably so. But it was really nice seeing that culture and that the food and the way they were dressing up the bride and all these customs. Like I guess they took his shoes or whatever. He's just supposed to walk around barefoot, and there's all these things that I don't really know about their culture. Or like saying "I do" 3 times. Like I didn't know that they do that. I thought that was really interesting, and I think I also want to highlight the moment with Kamala's dad and her brother. I really liked that bit of dialogue there where he was talking about like, when you choose family, you're never alone, and it's like a common theme in a lot of hero tales. But I thought his performance was really, really strong. So
love it. I love the scene in the kitchen. One of my favorites was when the kitchen worker saw like all the shit was going down. She was like,
No, she's like, I ain't having this.
She said, nope.
She walked right out of that motherfucker.
All right. Wolf of Odin says, seeing Nakia winning the votes. Nakia's so cool, man. I love that character so much. Flashback was nice. Caitlin says, I always thought the 10 rings were linked to Eternals. I don't think so. I think it's more Shang-Chi for sure. America Chavez and Miss Marvel teaming up is 100% happening. What about you, Ryan? What was your favorite moment?
Honestly, it's the moment right after the kitchen scene when Bruno comes in, saves the day, but then gets thrown against the wall, and is Kamala's turning point when she finally makes the fist and she finds it in herself, and to see her like confidently use her powers was like, yes, she's finally getting some sense of knowing how to use them. She's not just like flimsying around with them like she has been, especially when she saved the kid dangling from the fucking clock tower, which I'm still kind of shocked that she saved, because I thought the plot was going to kill that kid pretty fast. That was a bad joke that no one's going to get, but it's fine. It's totally fine.
Wolf of Odin is excited about America Chavez and Miss Marvel teaming up. Seems like inevitable right now. I love this comment from Caitlin. The friendship between Kamala and Nakia and Bruno is so good. I think that's the heart of the show. It's the friendships and it's the family. Then it's like a superhero movie. So it's like the strength of this show is the family dynamics, the mom, the dad, Kamala, and the rest of her extended family. Then it's the friendships. Then it's like Miss Marvel. That's how this is a great show. Caitlin kind of exacerbates that, saying good isn't what you are, Kamala, it's what you do. A really good scene there. I love that so much. My head, again, my favorite moments was like just the MCU just going bonkers. Like at this point you have to think like every single mythological deity creature is real in the MCU, right? Like you've got Norse gods, frost giants, Chinese mythological creatures, Egyptian gods, Greek gods with Thor coming out, like vampires, witches, and now Jinn. Like, where does this stop? I don't care. I don't want it to stop. I'm good with it. Just keep going. It's going nuts.
So I wanted to like touch on this. Question is, what girl will America Chavez have feelings for with the characters in the comic being a lesbian? But I think that's the thing. I don't think they're going to give her a relationship whatsoever, especially like between Multiverse of Madness and Lightyear alone. Like the literally Multiverse of Madness, they didn't even touch hands for more than 5 seconds. And it became a big kerfuffle online. And then Lightyear, they originally cut one scene of Hawthorne kissing her wife. And honestly, when I saw the movie, I completely missed. Like, that's how fucking short it is. And they put it back in, but then they lost it in like 10 or 15 markets because of that. So I think that's the unfortunate part when it comes to America Chavez. I really think they're just going to try and give her that broody, I can't have love because I lived this dangerous life, when in real life, it's just because they can't put that out there for every single market. So I'm very curious to know what Marvel Disney do going forward with not even just Marvel, just like any type of Disney product going forward and trying to deal with LGBTQ relationships in their movies and trying to fight censorships in a lot of different countries. So I think America Chavez as a character will help show the way that they might be leaning towards. I'm hoping they give her a relationship, but I just don't think it's very likely. And in all retrospect.
Yeah. I honestly don't know. And now I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride.
Fuck yeah, baby.
Wolf of Odin says, I think Cameron does go bad because of Bruno's relationship with Kamala. I hope that doesn't happen. Like, I hope Bruno and Kamala are like
So
friends.
they're not going to be. Deebs, I've already just accepted it. They're not gonna. That's not the relationship that the show is trying to go for. I don't want to believe Wolf Odin's comment, but I'm inclined to, because I didn't think they would do that with Kamala and Bruno, but it's really seemingly turning out to be that way. I don't think they'll end up together, but you definitely see that type of relationship conflict right there. Yeah. And I just think the three characters are going to go their three separate ways.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Let's go into grades, Loretto. How would you grade episode 3?
I think I'll probably give it like a 7. It wasn't like the worst thing I've seen this week or in TV in general, but like we were saying, like this one definitely kind of felt like they were just pressing fast forward on the entire thing, and kind of there was almost too much focus on the wedding to where I actually wanted more of the clandestines or whatever the hell they're called, the Jinn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, I mean, it was fun. I really liked the action sequences, and I'll admit that moment with the fist that Ryan highlighted, like awesome. I literally was like, yeah, like it's her thing. That's her big thing, the big fist that stretches and stuff. And that's like the image that I know. Like when I hear Ms. Marvel, that's what I think of. I think of her and her fists, and so that was really cool to get that moment. That was like her big superhero moment so far. So it was a solid 7.3 for me.
7.3 for Loretta. What about you, Ryan?
I'm gonna go a little bit higher, 7.5. Like I said, there's a lot of individual parts that I really like, along with just the characters. They're all just great characters, and you just love watching them. And I think that's really what helps this episode in some regard. Is this is a very dialogue heavy episode, and if you're not really interested in the background of the gauntlet itself, I don't think you're going to find much to enjoy too much in this, unless you're really 100% in on the cultural aspect of this show, which I think this episode does really well. And you know what? I just hope this isn't continuous in the next episode with them going to I forgot the location. Karachi. I wanted to say Kamar-Taj so bad because I knew it was okay, but I'm just not going to do that to myself. Oh my God, bro. Imagine if Karachi and Kamar-Taj are like next to each other. America Chavez is like training there, bro. She comes in and helps save. Nah, that's way too much. Let me stop right there.
No, but what's funny is like it's so convenient that what they need her to do, America can do.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, 7.5 for me, baby.
Wolf of Odin says 8 out of 10. Caitlin's saying 8 out of 10. Wolf of Odin, we will get to that comment very soon. We're going to talk predictions very, very soon. I like the 8. I'm good with 8. 95% of the first 3 episodes here, story-wise, is A+ level, man. All the family, all the friends, all that stuff is just hitting all the right marks for me, all the relationships. This is a story about her powers being a family thing, and I think everything is truly clicking. Majority is truly clicking at a super consistent level. And I said this from the first episode, and I said this during episode 2. Like, this is still trending as becoming my favorite MCU show. We're still going. I just love how it's just so refreshing. The show is just incredibly refreshing. So much happens. Like even Nakia knows about Kamala's powers, like that. And this story for episode 3 slowed down, but so much is happening, and they do it so well. And the score of this series, 3 episodes in, is becoming one of my favorite. The soundtrack and the score is just absolutely outstanding. That wedding scene, so great. Bon Jovi.
The Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi to
Brown Jovi.
Brown Jovi.
Oh, it's so funny. Like
So
everything's truly hitting on all fronts.
Mitzvahs. I'm just like, oh my God.
This is the one thing that I don't really like. The kind of
I've got a
Number
theory
one.
about this.
All right. Well, let's get into. Hold on. Let's get into predictions. And I want to go circle back to Ryan's comment. And you know where my head went to when I heard Caltech was, what's out there, right, Ryan? Is the end of Black Panther. Remember that, Loretto? Do you remember the end of Black Panther when they set up a Wakandan International Outreach Center? That was
Oakland.
That was in Oakland. Do you think Bruno works for Wakanda and he will have some sort of relationship in Black Panther 2 or Wakanda Forever with Shuri? He's a smart guy. I'm sure he's got a lot of value there. So I see it on both ends. Like he's so central to Kamala's character, but could he be the Easter egg that leads us into Black Panther 2?
I think for his character level, he's a B character right now. I don't think he's... Knowing Marvel, B characters usually don't progress that fast. And knowing how fast Black Panther's coming out, which is pretty much right around the corner at this point, I don't think we're going to get there yet, but I do think we're going to get there eventually.
Is he even a B character? He's more like a C character.
I mean, in terms of the show, he's a B character.
Yeah,
I mean, in terms of the MCU, he's like a fucking D character, bro.
I don't want Kamala leaving. She's going to be leaving Jersey City, but I want her to stay in Jersey City because
I was kind of confused.
What?
No, I should have brought this up earlier because I was kind of confused with the gift that he gave her. Did he give her the whole suit or just the eyepiece? And if he did, why did they state previously in the first episode when she was making her Captain Marvel shirt dress, he can't make shit, so he can just make that? I mean, was he just lying, or I don't know if that's just me or if I'm just trying to look too far into it. I'm just okay, it's just if you're just gonna have him make the suit, why just drop a stupid line like that at the end of the day? Cut 3 seconds out of your fucking show. And I can tell you, whenever you're looking at a project and you're editing it, you want to cut as much useless shit as you want out. And if that holds no weight in the grand spectrum, cut that shit out. And that's just my business side looking at it.
All right. Let's throw it to you, Loretto. Any thoughts on that and just general predictions of where we're headed?
Interestingly enough, I thought we were going to be the same wavelength. I actually went in a different direction. So
cool.
I had two thought processes for this. First of all, I don't know the connection between Stark's legacy and Caltech, but I know that Rhodey was in the comics. He is part of the West Coast Avengers, and I thought that maybe this might link into Armor Wars or Ironheart, like Caitlin was saying. So I mean, because I think it's interesting. I like the fact that they brought Bruno into this because, I like the idea that there's a lot of smart kids in the world, right? There's not just one Tony Stark. I think that it's awesome that they're bringing along these younger, smart minds like Shuri and Bruno, and now we're gonna see Riri soon in Ironheart, and I think that's really exciting. I think he fits in with that group, whether he goes the Wakandan way or the more Stark Enterprise, whatever. If they get recruited to do Stark
honestly
stuff,
I'm thinking maybe Pimtech. Who knows?
Pimtech?
They're West Coast.
That's San Francisco.
Yeah. Interesting.
There's a lot of options here.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of. That's why I said before when we were talking about Bruno, there's a lot of options in terms of. I'll just say right now, I think at the end of this show, Kamala is just going straight up, and he's going to the West Coast for the internship. That's where those two characters are going. But there's so many different prospects of where he can go because it is the West Coast, and I think that's really the thing they're trying to do now is they're building out the East Coast and the West Coast Avengers in some sort of manner. I mean, that's just kind of thinking it out, kind of. And Oakland is run by, or not run by. It might be run by.
I mean, I think that's where this is heading. Is you're going to have the Avengers, you're going to have the young Avengers dealing with separate threats. I think it makes a ton of sense. I think
that's a good Easter egg. Hey, highlight Caitlin's newest comment.
Oh yeah,
that was a good Easter egg.
Yeah, that's when Bruno was reading about the.
Yeah, he read the book.
He's
Yeah.
studying interdimensional travel, but like I guess Selvig, I guess, wrote it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because he obviously knows all about that with Thor coming out of the sky and shit.
So.
Um,
no, go Deeps. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it's a really good bet that Kamala's mom knows way more than she's letting on.
Oh, she
Right.
definitely does.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid bet. Like, she might even know it all. Like, who was that character in Hawkeye that was like, you thought it was bad, but he was actually good? It was the mom's boyfriend. Remember that?
Oh shit, bro! The fucking fencing dude.
Yeah. Remember, I was like,
God.
oh, that guy's definitely like in on it.
Played
He
by,
wasn't.
what's his name? Dalton.
Jack.
Right? Jack.
Like, I don't think that's the case here. I think there's definitely something going on that the mom is not telling.
Oh, I got that from like the first episode, bro. She was very pushy with the box when she first introduced it to Kamala in the first episode. And from that moment on, I'm like, she knows something. And even in this episode, they go a little bit deeper into the mom's history on how she arrived to America and how like America was her dream and how everyone kind of disowned her when she left because what's her brother's name again? I forgot. Do you remember, Lo? Amit, yeah, because they mentioned that they moved right after Amit was born, so that must have been like what 25 years ago at some point. So I definitely think that's gonna tie in somewhere with the gauntlet. And don't forget, there's supposed to be 2, and we're missing 1 still. So the mother might have destroyed it.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
That's why she might have been like banished or pushed out from her family.
Definitely. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Anybody else have any predictions about where this is headed?
Yeah, I actually think I have a good feeling on how this last episode's gonna go. So I feel like the Department of Damage Control is gonna capture Kamala, but that's how the episode's gonna end. And then we're gonna pick up in a cutscene with Captain Marvel getting her out because you know the word got linked to Captain Marvel somehow about Kamala and she could really use her help. And I think right before she gets captured, she unlocks some full ability, whether it's within the gauntlet or not.
I definitely think it's a really good bet. That where was the comment about Captain Marvel? If anybody can find it, let me know. We've got some awesome comments today, but you talk about the end of, I think it was Shang-Chi, and remember the thing was sending a beacon out, and Captain Marvel was there, and she's clearly said, like, this is not from anything I've seen in space, anything I've seen on Earth, it's from a different dimension. She's investigating that, so I think it's definitely related to that tech.
What's interesting, Dive, is now that I'm thinking about it, because like I've been watching Shang-Chi a lot. So like
it's connecting to Secret Invasion, by the way. It's gotta.
Banner and Carol Danvers confirmed that it's not Kree-Tech, the 10 rings. So there might be a disconnect there. And then like the lady in the beginning of this episode, she was blue. So
my favorite idea is Kang, right when he died, like he sent all like this tech out into the dimensions and
is that what he did? I thought that was just like some big implosion.
Just hear me out. And like now, like they from the beginning of time, like they're all scattered everywhere. And you know, we're gonna learn that it was Kang who sent out all this tech, and he's gonna round it up eventually and bring it all together and just be completely badass.
And who knows? Maybe that's how they can that's how they can interweave the Eternals into this. Maybe they can use Phastos, the one who created everything for mankind, to like kind of frolic upon this and be like, I don't know what this is. I've created everything in the universe. I know what everything on this planet is. I've never seen that in my life. So maybe that might be a way they bring the Eternals into this. I mean, dude, if you asked us this question like 4 or 5 years ago, we probably would not be making predictions like this about every single episode on every single episode of not even the podcast for the shows, but the movies too. It's always just changing and going in so many different directions. That's how big this fucking universe is, and it always kind of just blows my mind sometimes.
Caitlin says the grandma also knows a lot more. 100%. She saw the train vision. Caitlin says, I don't think Kang will be. I'm not saying we'll find that out this show, but I think maybe down the road. Any thoughts on that, Loretto, or any other predictions on your end?
No, I just feel like there's definitely something big coming, and I think whether it's Brie Larson or whether it's a direct link to, you know, Armor Wars or Secret Invasion, I think we're gonna get some tie-ins here, just because every single MCU minus Moon Knight actually has had some kind of big development, you know, whether it was Kingpin or whether it was, you know, Loki and Kang, you know, WandaVision has little twists with Ralph Boner. I feel like there's going to be something coming, and I think it's going to be exciting. We'll see.
I feel like I can kind of back up this statement right now. So let's think about it. After Miss Marvel, there's nothing regarding, as far as I can tell, because we've got Baby Groot, Thor Love and Thunder, She-Hulk, Black Panther. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting about one show? Am I forgetting about one show?
Well, Armor Wars was supposed to come out this year, but I think they're pushing it to next year.
Yeah, there was something. There was supposed to be another show, but anyway. So, and then they also switched the release dates of Ant-Man and Captain Marvel. So my thought is in the background between Shang-Chi, between Miss Marvel, they've just been doing their work, you know, their research and shit like that, and they've been building up information, right? And so we get our introduction to the team being built, because it slowly has been being built between WandaVision, between Miss Marvel, and so forth. And ultimately, what I think is gonna happen, bro, is we're gonna get to Ant-Man 3 Quantumania in February next year. And as far as I can tell, that's really what looks to be the next type of storyline within this grander scope of whatever this technology is we're trying to discover right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where I think Quantumanium's much bigger than I think a lot of us anticipate. I think that this is where we're going to get I don't want to say the exposition dump, but I feel like we're going to get a lot more. Well, Kevin Feige also said it in a few months we're going to get a much clearer idea, but I'm assuming that's just from announcing titles for later on in the future. But just talking plot-wise and character-wise, I feel like Quantumania is going to be pretty massive when it comes to learning more about Kang, what these pieces of, I'm just going to say jewelry are between the 10 rings and the gauntlets right now. I don't think we're going to get introduced to any new type of artifact, but I could be wrong. But that's kind of how I see it, because then after Ant-Man, you might have to see what show they release in between Ant-Man and Captain Marvel 2, but Captain Marvel 2 is the next movie right after. So I'm going to assume a lot of that's going to start wrapping into Captain Marvel 2.
I think that's what's so exciting about this show. Like, I think this show has more connective tissue than any recent MCU show recently, right? Like, I mean, there's Shang-Chi, there's Multiverse of Madness. There's a lot going on for sure. And that's definitely refreshing for other shows, which are mainly set up for other TV shows.
Yeah. By the way, don't worry. White Vision probably doesn't exist in the MCU because Multiverse of Madness forgot about Vision. So White Vision doesn't exist. I'm sorry. I had to throw that dig out there. I'm done.
Caitlin says Quantumania will be pretty big and important.
It definitely will be.
That's Kang, baby. Kang, you know, Kang's going to be the villain of that, right?
And also, it's introducing another Young Avenger with Cassie. So it's also building up the Young Avengers. So I think that's what we're slowly doing, is we're building up two different fronts. We're helping build the Young Avengers, but we're also building up the threat that the Young Avengers and the old Avengers have to take on together. Because I really feel like that's what the next level has to be. We still have Thor. I don't think Thor's gonna die in Love and Thunder. In all honesty, we've still got Hulk. He's probably not gonna die in She-Hulk. We're gonna see what's gonna happen with Black Panther in November. So I'm sure, honestly, Black Panther could play into a shit ton of this, and we don't even know because we know nothing about Black Panther, and that's kind of weird. Of weird.
Caitlin says Loki season 2 is filming, and Thunderbolts are coming down the line. It's gonna be so fun. So fun.
I wonder how they're gonna do Thunderbolts without Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, are they gonna recast, or are they gonna do like this whole like we're building a team, but we're just doing it based off the legacy of the character instead of having him assemble the team, have his legacy assemble the team. But that's kind of like what my thought process was, and I know a lot of people on Twitter was thinking the same thing, and I'm like, I can see it. I'm not against it, but
I think they'll recast it. I mean, they recasted Edward Norton so fast with Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, but bro, that was the second movie before it was even a universe.
I think Red Hulk deserves his time.
They might be switching it up, but also I don't know what they could do with Red Hulk because of the licensing contract they have with Universal. Because Universal owns the Incredible Hulk character IP.
Interesting.
And that's why we haven't gotten like any solo films, and that's why like Taika built the Planet Hulk storyline kind of into Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And especially after that first Thor movie, Incredible Hulk movie, the box office wasn't great. I think it's the least grossing one out of all the MCU still. It isn't that highly regarded. And honestly, you don't see people fucking getting it trending on Twitter. I don't really think they're ever gonna like come to an agreement to make a solo Hulk film. But yet again, they're making a She-Hulk project at the same time. So that's really what confuses me at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up. Ryan, where can we find you, man? What do you got going on?
Guys, find me just Ryan again, and nothing much on my end, but we got an exciting new show coming. Just check out our socials. I'm fucking excited for it, boys. I'm really excited for it. It's gonna be a good time, and yeah, guys, just stay tuned on our socials for the announcements for that in the coming weeks. But yeah, stay tuned.
What about you, Lo?
So I actually just dropped my review for The Black Phone. It's a non-spoiler review on the Cinema Spot. Check it out at thecinemasspot.com, on Twitter at thecinemasspot. Other than that, are we still doing a versus? I think we were thinking like maybe Obi-Wan versus something. Is that still happening?
There's an idea of doing Obi-Wan versus Book of Boba Fett season 1.
I think that's a great idea.
I'm in. That would be.
So we're gonna plan that out probably in the next couple of days. So.
All right, cool. And then, of course, a week from tomorrow, we have our next movie draft. Best heroes of all time. Best movie heroes of all time. 10 people, 6 rounds. We'll select the best heroes, but we're going to be doing something different this time. I promise you it's going to be a ton of fun. Guys, follow us on Twitter at the Suit Up Geeks. Check us out on Instagram. Please be sure to subscribe if you love anything Star Wars MCU. We got you covered. Follow Ryan on Twitter at Just Ryan again. That is Loretto at Marcellus Durden on Twitter. I'm Dibes. For Ryan, for Loretto, for myself, stay awesome, everyone. You gotta find the thing. I was not ready, Ryan.
Nah, it's all good.
See it.